Hello, Chester here. Today we'll be playing Demir Oculus. So there's a lot of hype for Oculus and its actual card price is spiking up because of, I guess, Modern and Pioneer. Now we're going to try to break this card into Timeless. So our main plan for this deck would be to land that right shaman on one, and then on turn two we could frog, discard Oculus into reanimate, or we could overlord of the Bailmer, mill over a Oculus and then reanimate it. So those are the most explosive plays you could do with this deck. Alternatively, you could also reanimate the Overlord of the Bailmerk here. Or if you want, you can also settle for a turn 2 troll. It sometimes gets the job done, but it usually only works for the Dimir matchup since they only run Fatal Push. Otherwise, it usually just gets swords or static prison. And we have the Grief scam lines on turn 1 where you can evoke Grief into reanimate Grief. And another powerful play here is a turn 2 Harbinger of the Seas. Many matchups when this is unexpected, this can just win you the game outright, assuming you catch your opponents off guard. The main question for this deck is it worth cutting lures for Oculus, Harbinger, Grief, and Bailmerk and Troll? We're not really sure about that yet, but we're going to play some games and test it out. I do have a lot of cards that I wanted to play with, but couldn't since I was running lures. For example, we have Subtlety. This is actually a great counter to the turn zero Dark Ritual into Sovereign play. You can counter that with Subtlety. You could also potentially Subtlety Grief on turn one, but that isn't that great since you essentially just discard two cards. And another card is Brazen Borrower. This is the missing piece from the Demir Shell. This is essentially what your graveyard hate looks like. This can remove enchantments, problematic creatures, planeswalkers, artifacts, so basically everything for a cheap cost of 2 mana. And then on the way down, you can counter it with mana drain. We're also adding a bit of a splash on green since we have that right shaman, and that enables us to run abrupt decay for additional enchantment and artifact hit, since usually you're going to encounter problems with opposing hers, opposing rest in peace, or otherwise you can just kill frogs without the fear of getting countered. We are currently running 18 lands plus 2 trolls, so I'm not sure if that is enough, but we're kind of forced to run a low land count since this deck won't be expecting to hit consistent land drops until 4, and it should be able to operate on 3 mana. Anyway, let's try to play some games with this deck and see how it goes. Our opponent is going first. They have no companions. We have Grief. I think this is keepable since we have Brainstorm and Treasure Cruise. Let's just take it slow. Don't know what they're playing yet, so there's no need to brainstorm yet. We're gonna start with want to start with brainstorm. Could also just go go frog here. Okay, they mana drain this. I think with that play, I'm gonna prioritize griefing here. We don't want the Oculus. I think they have the one ring. getting the Lorien reveal to stop them from hardcasting it. They can prismatic ending the Deathright Shaman. Is it better to take Troll here? Might be better to just Troll. Other than, guess we don't want that. I'm just gonna play take Grief. Forces them to hardcast the Snapcaster. Then we get Troll back. Guess we just get Frog too. Let's attack with these two. We don't want to accidentally die to another Snapcaster. Guess we just Treasure Cruise here. Great, there's Mana Drain. Ooh, Verdict. Let's just cast the Bowmasters. Let's Mystic Sanctuary for Cruise. Let's just pass. So they're playing blue-white control. I guess yours is great here. Not sure if I want Harbinger. Probably not. But we do want Brazen Borrower. The Grief should probably go. Let's bring in some Abrupt Decay in place of Fatal Push. Spell Pierce is nice here. Thought Seeds, Subtlety. I think this should be good. This hand is fine. Let's keep the Abrupt Decay. I think I have a flaw in my deck building here. Let's just jam a Frog. The flaw is I don't have an untapped green source. I only have Hedge Maze. think that's fine. Now we can cast the Overlord. Oh my god, what was that? Don't want the mana drain. I guess we could frog. I think it's just Oculus. If they drain this, it's fine. We can reanimate. Let's get a black source. Let's try to reanimate this. Make sure this slips. They played red. I would have been dead to bolt earlier or a flage. STP. Okay. Play another frog. Play that right shaman. Spell pierce. Swords to plowshares the frog, not the overlord. Yep. The containment priest cancels that. I wasn't actually sure. Eh, don't want the Mystic Sanctuary yet, I think. Let's just get a basic swamp just in case. Guess we could Snapcaster Mage. Probably die to another Supreme Verdict. Rat of the Skies for 3. Not sure if there's a point in bouncing the One Ring. Okay. As long as they whiff on another ring, it should be good. Right? Which means we only have a window to try to treasure cruise. They have to kill this before I concede. Okay. I think I'm fine with how I boarded. Probably just misplayed that. Let's play first. Guess this is fine. Don't think I want that. Just gonna jam frog here. Looks like they have interaction. Maybe the wrong kind. I'm going to discard the Oculus here. I was hoping I could high roll. I think I let this go if they counter. Let's drain this. Alright, we can cast the treasure cruise now. Yes, this is better. Let's keep that. I want the Oculus to be in the graveyard. Okay. Let's put abrupt decay on top. Let's just dot seeds now. Hmm. Let's take Flame of Honor since that chokes my mana here. Let's try to treasure cruise again. Guess not now. Now we can. Let's only get 3 spells. A look at their hand. I think we just treasure cruise here. Give them incentive to rat this board. I guess I'm discarding two cards here. Not gonna pressure with Bowmasters yet. Guess we could play the Oculus here. Do they have the rat? Not sure if I have any lands yet. I have one. Let's just play the Bowmasters. There's no need to cast the Oculus. We have Lethal on board. Okay, game one. Let's play first. I think this is not keepable. This isn't keepable. This is better, but it sucks. Which means they are a they're playing Delirium. Yes, we just do this. I need another fetch so that I can cast Oculus. Let's go for Undercity Sewers. Don't want the grief. Overlord is actually pretty nice. Okay, that sucks. We can shrink the Goyf for one turn. Assuming we're not dead here. Yep, I guess we're dead. Against this FOMO deck, we want Abrupt Decay, Toxic Deluge, Curse. We don't want the Griefs. Harbinger is fine. Not sure if I want Mana Drain. Yes, we can trim down on mana drains for a borrower. Let's see if this is enough. Brainstorm could be useful. We're just gonna try to 3 turn clock them. Let's try to brainstorm here. Those are really good. I order like this. Because that means if they take reanimate, I can hard cast Harbinger. I think we should be a bit aggressive. Let's exile the sorcery and the creature. Nice. I think I'm fine with how I boarded. It's fine. We have interaction. Okay, let's brainstorm. I really don't want Oculus and the troll here. Guess we can do that. Okay. Should have kept the toxic deluge on top then. So decay this. Holy shit. 3 amp raptors. Let's cycle for swamp, I guess. Let's reanimate. Let's go on defense here. Here's the lightning bolt. Don't think reanimate's gonna do it. Oops. Alright. We're gonna lose that anyway. Yeah, let's play first. This was the guy on Death and Taxes, if I can recall correctly. We're missing in land, but this is actually a good play first hand because of that right shaman and harbinger. Alright. Now it's less good. 3, 6, 7. Kinda wanna see what they're playing first. Guess they're still playing Death and Taxes. That being said, let's just have a toxic deluge with us. Trim down on harbinger since they play basics. Not sure about bowmasters. Solitude probably is fine. Or subtlety. And abrupt decay should be good. I think bowmasters goes probably griefs. Or at least this gets trimmed. Yeah, let's just go max on harbingers. Let's play first. Not sure what happened. Let's just push this now. Okay, there's the march. Looks like they have a solitude to get out of this one though. Then let's just hardcast a treasure cruise. Hmm. I guess I should pass since they might have ephemerate. Okay, let's just pass again. I don't want that. I think I still pay 7 here so that we can hardcast the troll. Let's try to reanimate this or mana drain. Should we bring in surgical extraction then? I don't think so. I have I have a feeling that they only have reanimate as the reanimator spells. This isn't good enough. This is better, but at the same time a bit worse. Let's keep the land. I think we can pass. Yeah, let's wait for a bit. We can take a hit here. Let's just mana drain this. Guess we can take one more hit from this. Hmm. Try to counter that. Not really sure if there's an out here. Yes, that's a good one. Okay. Have a land. My lands hurt me. Okay. Oh my god. I have to block. I punted by not cracking this earlier. Okay. We have a game. Can keep bouncing their stuff. Okay, grief. Welcome back. Now, after those games, there's a lot of weak spots for this deck. Individually, these cards are weak, especially grief. I really hate this in fair shells, but I wanted to run this since we're already running reanimate, and this is another reason to ditch Lurus. But I guess in a fair shell like this, it doesn't really make sense to two for one yourself. The Oculus, I'll be real with you. You won't like casting this for three. So most of the time you're expecting to reanimate this, but that means you're playing a two card combo. Imagine if this is an Atraxa instead or Valgavot. If you reanimate that, you essentially just win the game on the spot. Overlord of the Banemerc is actually pretty good because you can just land this on turn two, try to find your creatures. You could actually curve out into Oculus, but that means you're trying to curve out on turn two and three. You're tapping out for these two cards, which usually doesn't happen for this deck because you're planning to interact with opponents. Landing Banemerc into Oculus isn't really that backbreaking that most opponents can just ignore that and maybe play some removal spell on Oculus. So the first cut I would take probably is Grief, and then Bowmasters I guess should be a 4 off. Treasure Cruise is fine. We have a lot of ways to enable Cruise. The Troll is also fine since we're playing Reanimate. Alternatively, you could play on Earth on this slot, but again, I'm not really seeing it because Oculus is A plus B combo. Without the other cards to enable it, it's just a dead card in your hand. And Timeless is so fast and efficient that you don't really want synergistic cards like this that could be potentially dead in your hand. Even Reanimate is sometimes dead in your hand. I haven't really gotten to Subtlety a turn zero Soren, so I can't really say is Subtlety is great, but it does look great into the Jeskai control matchups. Also Borrower. And I also feel if you want to play an interactive deck, you're supposed to have Spell Snare in your deck. I think this is kind of a requirement right now, at least two of each, because most decks will kill you on turn one on the play or turn two on the play, and you won't be able to keep up unless you have Spell Snare or Spell Pierce. And focusing on higher curve creatures like Frog, Oculus Harbinger can leave you vulnerable to any other play that is more powerful. So you can't really tap out against Show and Tell for Frog. You can you can't hard cast this most of the time. Harbinger, you can't hard cast this most of the time. That's where the right shaman shines. But again, if you don't draw that right shaman or the other one drop, it feels a bit too slow. The changes I would make for this deck is probably just cut these, cut those, and then probably have Bowmasters and Spell Snare. That's basically it. Maybe you could cut an Oculus for Oko since we're already playing 3 drop. I think it's still correct to run Reanimate since you can potentially bring back Bailmerk or a Troll on some edge cases. Anyway, I'll try some other configurations for this deck, but I have tried multiple versions of this, including the unearthed ones where you take the UB Tempo shell with lures and just add Oculus in it, and it doesn't really feel as good as having lures and a bunch of spell snares and spell pierce. So I wouldn't really recommend crafting Oculus yet. Harbinger has been okay against Mardu, against the three color decks and the greedy control deck. And Bailmerk had potential, especially in that last game where we could have won if we were able to keep bouncing stuff and then just sacrificing borrower to that Yorion because Bailmerk can bring the dead borrower back. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.